Hello, party people. Welcome back. It's another NRW review video. That's right, another review for all our fans in internet land. And it's your host, the one and the only Mr. David Estacado, here along with my buddy from Another Nutty, the one and only Mr. Rob the Movie Guy. What's up, Rob?
What's up, everybody? And thank you very much for the wonderful introduction here, because today...
I appreciate it. I bet you're happy. I know you're hyped.
I'm hyped. Because I've been wanting to do this for quite some time, because as you may see in the background, if you guys don't know who this man is, right over here, or right behind Mr. David over there, we are going to be talking about a film that stars not only Michael Jai White, but Scott motherfucking the man Adkins. If you have not heard of this man here, you will today, because I promise you, after we get done this review, I want you guys to go out there and watch his movies, because his movies are the shit.
They are.
We are going to be getting to this review here for the movie that we're going to be doing called Undisputed 2: Last Man Standing. So before we get into our thoughts, let's roll the trailer here real quick.
Roll it.
This is your Bible.
Oh, yes, sir. I take the good book with me everywhere I go. That is not mine.
In a foreign land where corrupt men will stop at nothing to get their amusement and money, a former champion must enter a whole new ring.
But it's incredible that I'm sharing a cell with George Chambers here.
In this facility, we think we hire fighters.
We're a great champion. But in here, I am the champion.
You know what it feels like to be in here for nothing? You better turn around and get me the fuck out of here.
I will. You cannot stop me from doing what I have to do.
I ain't fighting, man.
Listen, George, we're all gonna make a ton of money.
Motherfucker, I'll kill your motherfucking ass.
Go with the program. Best way to stay healthy. Drugged.
Fucking pussy, get up.
You think I need you
To drug my opponents?
See, this is all street fighting anyway, and that's what I'm from. I'll just go home on his ass.
And that's the trailer. If that doesn't get you hyped from the movie, I don't know what to tell you, because it's a pretty dope movie. It's a pretty dope movie. This is one of those kind of like straight to DVD sequels that you would see at your Blockbuster, action flicks. It is a sequel to the 2002 movie. Starring Ving Rhames and I believe Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, I saw that movie in theaters too, by the way.
Really?
Yeah,
What'd you think of that?
It's been a long time since I've seen it. I remember at the time I liked it. I don't remember thinking like this is amazing. I didn't feel that, but I remember liking it. But I haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters, so my recollection of the film is kind of vague. But when I found out there was a sequel to the film, I was like, oh, Wesley Snipes back? Nope, Michael Jai White. I was like, even better. So yeah.
But no, it is a sequel. He's still playing the same character. He's playing Mr. Iceman Chambers in this sequel. Little bit of a synopsis, I guess. He's an ex-boxing champion. He's low on cash. He's trying to make the money. So what's he doing? He's overseas making commercials
in Russia. Yeah,
in Russia.
Yeah.
With his manager, him and his manager trying to make some money back, after the whole stint with the boxing going down, and after the last movie apparently, where he gets into trouble and ends up being in prison, where he has to pretty much get involved in this underground fighting, boxing.
Well, it's not just boxing.
It's like a martial arts, MMA, fighting kind of, you know, want to say racket that they had going on at the prison, and his you know, rise to getting you know, payback on their champion. Kind of, you know, Rocky 2 feel, I guess. You know, if you
I wouldn't go say that Rocky 2 feel. I definitely would kind of. This film definitely has a mix of like a lot of different genres of action, but
and tropes. I mean, yeah, very trope.
It's a very tropey film. Look, I'm going to say this here before we get into the review here.
Okay.
This was the introduction that I got of Scott Adkins. Now, I did not see the film because of him. I saw it because of Michael Jai White. I am a big fan of him as an actor and as an action film star as well.
I think we should do another video for that. Just saying.
Yeah.
Another video. Look out for that.
Yeah. So that being said, though, at the time I was working at a video rental store called Video Warehouse, and my boss was, because I remember I came across the film on the shelf, and I was like, "Oh, Undisputed 2 came out." And I was like, "I didn't even know it was in theaters." And no, it's a straight to DVD movie. And I was like, "Oh, but it's got Michael Jai White," and I knew who he was from Spawn and everything else. And he was like, "Yeah, you got to watch that movie." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, the action is phenomenal. The story sucks. Action's phenomenal. That's the only reason why you should watch the movie." And the guy that he's fighting, he is awesome too. There's some Russian guy who's like this best fighter in the prison, and he wants to fight Michael Jai White. I was like, okay, I'll watch it. From the moment that I saw the film, after getting introduced to Scott Adkins, and of course getting myself reacquainted with Michael Jai White in action films, I was like, I found my new action star hero, and that is in Scott Adkins, and I became Scott Adkins dick rider from that moment on. And I'm telling you guys, he is awesome in that movie. If you guys seen my social media post, this guy, I'm not joking when I say this. I'm a huge Stallone fan. There's no doubt about that. If you guys have seen from the previous videos here, but I am also a Scott Adkins fan. This was the movie that really got introduced to him. Then I come to realize he's been in other films as well too that I did not know he was in. But that's a whole different topic there. But the point is that this movie, action-wise, phenomenal. And I was trying to tell David here, you gotta watch these movies with Scott Adkins. I've been pushing for him to do that for quite some time, and I was like, we gotta do a review. We've gotta just do a review. I got this action boner that just gotta be released, man. And I need you to do it here with me so we can get into this review.
And he was hyped with it. I'm not gonna lie. Like I've seen other Adkins other work, and I've enjoyed it. I've seen him in. Oddly enough, a couple of other B movies that I didn't realize like he was even in. So this is kind of like, all right, let's see what else he's into. Yeah. The guy has some range.
Yeah,
he does, and I think he's really underrated considering some of the films that he's been in.
Yeah,
and you know what? This really kind of like, all right, this really put him up there with just the physicality, the action sequences. Yep. The guy did an amazing job, and you know what? We'll just get into it because we'll just get into the movie.
Yeah.
So and I think the way your boss described the film is perfect because as we all know, I used to work at Blockbuster myself. And that's exactly what I always loved. Picking up the B movies and picking up the action flicks. Yeah. That was my kind of films too that I would get into. Because the cheesier the better, the more explosions the better. Just something to pop in Friday night, after work and enjoy. Yeah. This is the kind of movie
it's not too complicated and it's just straight to the point, and this movie does it so good. And well, I mean, so the positives right off the bat, we've already touched upon it. The action is great. I mean, I told you gotta watch the action scenes because it is phenomenal. A little bit of a background here. So Scott Adkins, if you're not familiar with him, he's a very fit guy. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, when you see him in this movie, he is massive in comparison with Michael Jai White, who in real life himself is a massive man. So he knew that he had to put on right. So But he had to put on more muscle mass so that way he can stand toe-to-toe with him. So that way you don't see a massive man versus a pretty standard-looking, muscular guy.
Because at the time, Adkins was kind of scrawny.
Well, he wasn't scrawny. He
wasn't beefed up like the dude got jacked for this film.
Jacked in this movie, and it shows. And so if you're familiar with his work, you may come to understand that he is very good at acrobatics. He's high kicks and all this sort of stuff. And so his concern was that, can I still pull it off with all this muscle mass? And when you watch this movie, especially from what you see in the trailers there, yes, he can. And oh my God, is it amazing when they really do capture his his skill set that he can pull off in this film and in many other films as well. So yeah, action scenes, the fight scenes, phenomenal. And they don't have a lot of time to really put this film together because in comparison to some of the other action films, because this movie came out, I believe, in 2008, I think it was when it came out, 2007, 2008. At that time, the action films were mainly like the Bourne films, if I'm not mistaken. I think Bourne 2 had already come out, and Bourne 3 was on the verge of coming out. I can't remember, but that was the new action trend right now, where short, fast cut type of action, where you don't see much of what's going on, but it's supposed to be cool. And I was getting tired of seeing that. And then when I saw this film, I was like, oh my God, you guys are going right back to the old school days. Thank you. There is an action god out there. It still exists, and I was so happy with that.
I'm glad that you bring that up because it's exactly the feel throughout the film. You kind of got that old school 1980s kind of you know
90s action
flick. Yeah, like it was very tropey, and kind of throughout the film, as you see, you kind of get kind of those 90s tropes where like the protagonist gets taken to jail, or he gets himself in a shitty situation, he gets beat up, or he has like the best friend that eventually, something's gonna happen. So like, it was very tropey, and there are some movies that kind of stuff that come out of the movie, but it was pretty much plain and simple like action flick, and it had its moments obviously to kind of like give it that I want to say, not really fluff, but to kind of like at least push the story along a little bit.
Yeah, I think fluff is a good word. Well, we talked about the actions there, and believe me, guys, the action is top quality stuff. And yes, you can tell that this definitely is a low budget film, and there's no doubt about that. It's obvious in the film, but the development that you get with some of these characters here are pretty standard. They're not really, it's not like an Oscar type of development. Like, oh my God, you feel the atrocity these characters go through, and then all of a sudden they're going through these hurdles and they're going to overcome. It's nothing like that. It's just pretty straightforward stuff. They're bad guy. The protagonist is an egotistical maniac, and then he is hit hard with reality and having to, do the things he doesn't want to do, and he's in fear that he may never get out. And then he gets some help along the way to help further develop his understanding for, humbleness. I need to be humble and understanding, and I need to learn how to.
While doing it during a workout montage, training montage.
And what better way to do that here in really showcasing those development skills, because he certainly does that, especially because in the film he's just starts off as a boxer, and then later on he expands his martial arts skills to other forms of fighting in a short span of time.
Let's get to that because I kind of I want to pick apart a little bit about it.
Yeah,
where he comes in as this cocky boxer who pretty much gets set up just so he could just be the next opponent for Scott Adkins' character.
Yuri Boyka.
So that's pretty much the whole premise. If he gets set up so he could be the next opponent for this guy, because Boyka is like he's a fighter at heart. He believes in he's trying to be like the best fighter he is. That's how he feels how he is. Yeah. He wants to
very passionate about that too.
Yeah. So as Michael J. White gets in the situation, he doesn't realize he's kind of here for a reason, and he better play along or it's going to be tough for him. Once eventually he meets his cellmate, who kind of helps show him the ropes, so to speak. Show him the ropes a little bit until he betrays him, which I thought was one of the things I thought negatively about the film. Like the guy didn't really serve much of a purpose, just to kind of try to get some emotional impact, and it kind of that's kind of like I die. The second I saw the guy, I'm like, he's gonna die.
Well, he's a drug addict too. That's when you find out he's a drug addict and he's a junkie basically. And when you see that, I was like, yeah, he's gonna die. He's gonna die of an overdose, and he's gonna betray him along the way because he wants some of the drugs in his system. There's no secret about what the plot's going to be about. So we're gonna get to spoilers here because, quite frankly, guys, it's not a very difficult film to decipher. It's a pretty standard.
It's not. There's plot. The only cinematography I think for the word we could be used here, it would be for the choreography of the fights.
Oh yeah,
they're really, really well done.
Top notch.
Is it the best? Is it the best dialogue in the film? No. Like, is it the best story? Nah, it could have been some tweaking. But really, the highlight was just the intensity of the fights and kind of like the intensity of kind of like, is he going to get out? Is he really going to play along? Like, what's going on? And story-wise, I was kind of surprised about. I saw it coming, but I was surprised about how it got in the situation in the first place. How it's pretty much set up. But we won't spoil that. We'll let you figure out. It was a very sleazy situation, but just rewards. So I'll just touch the base there. Yeah. But there was somewhat a bit of a redemption here at the end of the movie, I believe.
So let's get into that. Yeah, I want to touch upon that because so in the film, Yuri Boyka, played by Scott Adkins, is meant to be the villain. But as David has already mentioned here, at heart, he is a fighter. With what had happened in the fight, in the lead up to the fight with Chambers here, played by Michael Jai White, you come to find out that the events that led up to that fight, he had no idea what was going on. He's basically innocent in that regard. And in the film, he definitely comes off as a really hard-ass, he's a dick, pretty much. He's rude to, he's slapping guys around, and they're not doing anything to retaliate because he has a place in this prison that he can almost get away with anything. And plus, he can also kick your ass too. So you don't want to mess with the guy.
Yeah, he was like the golden boy, well, so to speak, kind of like the champ. So you get away with it.
And then when you see where he's coming from, you actually, I think the film does a good job in setting up for you to sympathize with the character because you realize, oh, he's innocent in all this here. He's a dick, but he's innocent, and you really can't blame him for that, especially when he gets really mad. And you understand why when Michael Jai White, George Chamber, is accusing him of cheating and all that sort of stuff. He's I'm the best fighter in the world. And then he's starting to defend his honor. And you understand where he's coming from. So in that regard, with that development there, it makes sense. Straight to the point. There's no 15-minute build, a backstory. Yuri Boyka was wanted to be the best fighter in the world since he was 10 years. That stuff. You just, right off the bat what his intentions are. And then you get a little bit of a understanding of that he's innocent in the circumstance he's in. But because of the place he's in, he has to play by the rules. But playing by the rules unknowingly, pretty much. So
yeah, and that kind of helped me. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, that kind of helped me get into the movie a little bit. It's right. All right. So there's he's a shitbag. Yeah. But he's he's an honorable shitbag. Yeah. And I kind of liked him for it. I'm not gonna lie. I liked Scott Adkins in this movie. I liked the character he played. And I'm like, all right, I want to hear more about the guy. I want to see more about the guy. Starring him. Yeah. But yeah, Michael Jai White and Scott Adkins pretty much steal the movie. They are the best part of the movies. Yeah. They really are. Scott Adkins does a phenomenal job playing that Russian badass. The accent's on point, and he's believable.
Standard.
It's standard. Yeah. I mean, everybody can do a Russian accent, but but the way he does it and the way he pulls off that menacing, that presence he has. The guy has some presence inside and outside the ring and throughout the film. He does. Yeah. And the fact that, like I said, it did bring me back into the movie. We're like, all right, cool. So this guy, he's an honorable fighter. And I could get behind that. And I respect that. Yeah. If I'm going to win, yes, you do anything you do to win. But, if I'm going to beat this guy, I want to do it with my own hands.
Right.
Respect. Yeah. Mad respect.
Yeah. So I think that was one of the many saving graces of the film, because there's no doubt that there's a lot of cheesy factors in the film. It's a low budget film. There's no doubt about that. And there's a lot of really they're going to go down that route. It happens in the film. But again, you're seeing they know what they're doing, and they know what they've got, and they do a good job in just getting the point across here. And they're not making any hidden messages here. There's no any other ulterior motives. It's just, this is an action film. These are your characters. These are their motives, and that's the story.
Yeah, like I said, action in there was some stuff that was kind of thrown in. I guess to throw in some this is an emotional moment now, just to kind of care, to kind of go. They had to give him a reason, but even during the fight scene, I was like, well, that's it. That was more of a dragged out finale. I thought we could have dragged out the finale a little bit, or the climax of the film was that film. And I gotta give it. I really like the other character, the the grizzled old man in the corner.
He was good. There's a nice little development between the two characters, Chambers and the old man here as well. When you see them get themselves acquainted here, they do a good job with that. And like I said, it's not complicated. So and they know that. So I'm happy that they stuck with the elements that worked for them, and they didn't try to stray off into something else. They just stuck with what the film's intentions were, and they got the job done. And I'm not gonna lie, I love this movie. I am an action junkie at heart. One of the first ones I ever came across was an action film, and I have been a fan of the genre as a little kid. So the fact that at that time, like I mentioned before, action was kind of going in a different direction. There was all this fast editing, fight scenes, and I was getting tired of that. So seeing this movie, I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!"
It's kind of a sigh of relief, yeah.
Oh yeah, and Scott Adkins was like my reintroduction, if you will, along with Michael Jai White, of like, these films still exist out there, but you have to look underneath here to find them. And I was like, oh god, this is like the '90s. I love it. So.
And you know what? And let's just be for a B movie direct to DVD.
Yeah,
it wasn't bad.
Oh,
did it have some things that could have used some
improvement?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, the action and the story, not the entire story, but the story between Boyka and Chambers really kind of helped the movie. And it saved the movie, to be honest. And they were the highlights of the movie. Atkins and Michael J. were the highlights of the film.
No doubt. So, your overall thoughts, because I know you were, because it took you a while to get to, like, all right, I'll come and watch it.
I'll watch it.
So, now that you've seen it, and obviously you shared our thoughts, overall thoughts, what's your take on it?
Overall, this would be a film I'll pop back in.
Yeah,
like this would be like I want to just chill, watch an action flick. I'll pop it in. I'll even give it a second watch. Even I enjoyed it. I liked it. Yeah. And just for Atkins and Michael, honestly.
Yeah, well, you already know my thoughts. I'm down for the film. I think I've seen this movie, no joke, I think maybe 15 times altogether. So that goes to show you how I
all right, your stand on it. All right.
So I would certainly give this film a super high cheers, because this movie is what really reinvigorated my love for action again. Not that I hated it, but I was happy to see that it went back to the basics, and this film certainly did that for me. So super high cheers on my part.
Super high cheers here, man. Same.
Yeah. All right, guys. So those are our thoughts here on the film here, and we're actually very excited to be doing a review for Scott Adkins.
You definitely, Rob.
I was like
especially the next film, because you have backtrack. The first time I saw the guy was in Unleashed, another action film which I really enjoyed too. So that was like my first. I'm like, oh, who is this guy? So I went to go look, see what other movies he's been in, and other films that getting into the other action genres. I think which might be another. That's another whole other film, another review and a little video we can do. But
yeah.
That being said, I guess that's my segue. What movie got you into action back? Like, I know some movies that got us into action films again, because it's like I fell in love with action films again. Working at Blockbuster. What about you guys at home? What brought you into cinema? What was the movie that got you in love with movies or action films? Have you seen Scott Adkins? What movie made you like Scott Adkins? Do you not like Scott Adkins? Let Rob know. Why not? Let Rob know in the comments below.
Dude's a man. What's wrong with you?
He's up there. But yeah, like definitely high cheers. Definitely high cheers. And let us know what you think, Rob. And final thoughts on your end on that end.
Well, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean, I love the film. I love Scott Adkins. Like he is a breath of fresh air and action here. And unfortunately, he doesn't get the chance to really because and the funny thing is he's been in Hollywood films. He really has, but not the people really notice him, because he's always kind of like a background character. And if he is in the film, the impact that he has in these movies, he doesn't really have in the big screen, because they're not really giving him that. And I really wish they would use him in the right part. And I hope somewhere down the pipeline that will eventually happen. And I'm pretty confident it will. Again, that's just a lot of different factors have to come in to make that happen. But that being said, though, our thoughts are that check out this movie, because it is a lot of. And if you don't like it, please let us know why. And if you don't like it, something's wrong with you, is the way I got to say it. Just kidding, guys.
Everyone's entitled to their wrong opinion.
Yeah, sure. But if you like Scott Adkins, you're smart. Anyways, I'm just joking. But that being said, though, guys, let us know what you guys think here. And while you're here, please subscribe to our channel here. Oh, and by the way, we are going to try to aim. We have a goal here in mind, and we hope that you guys will help us reach here. We are at 752 subscribers here, I believe, right now, and we're trying to aim for 1,000.
At least 1,000.
Yeah, if you guys could help us out, spread the word of all good things that is New Release Wednesday here, and help us out a great deal for us to bring up our numbers up a little bit here, because we really are trying to aim for that goal of getting to 1,000 here. So if you can help us out with that, we would greatly appreciate it. So while you're here, be sure to comment, like we said before, and share the video, like the video, and let us know what else you want us to get into as well too. Because believe me, we're not just going to be covering action; we'll be covering about everything, new film releases, other type of genres out there, and
even comedy, whatever.
Yeah. So let us know your thoughts down there, and please help us reach our goal to 1,000 here, and we would greatly appreciate there. But while you're also here, make sure you follow us NRW here on social media. You can follow them on Facebook at New Release Wednesdays, also on Instagram, New Release Wednesday as well. On Twitter, at the NRW. I almost messed it up there. At the NRW. And you can follow myself here on social media. On Facebook is Rob the Movie Guy. That's simple. And on Instagram is Rob_Medina0585. And on Twitter, Rob Medina0585. And my buddy from Another Nutty Good Sir, where can they follow you here?
Well, fans, you can follow me on my Twitter and my Instagram on David is Disaster. You can find me there. For my other social media, you can follow me on my Facebook. My full name, David A. Estacado, where I talk everything else. We're indie wrestling, pop culture, video games. So follow me on there. We'll also like to be posting other stuff that we do with NRW and the rest of the NRW crew. And if you like what me and Rob do here, definitely check out the other videos that the rest of the crew is posting up. We do everything from comic books, movies, of course, TV, and everything else pop culture. And if you want all your pop culture news, you got to stick around with the NRW. I mean, look at us. Plus, with every other collaboration that we do, we also are with the Nerds of Color and colored other social media stuff that we do. We do a lot of collaboration with other great people and other great, other nerds and, geeks like ourselves and you guys at home watching. Just follow us, and we'll definitely be in touch, especially with con season. Hopefully, coming back around the bend. We'll definitely be on the lookout for that, because me and Rob are trying to get as many people to like, follow, subscribe, and who knows, we might get some interviews.
Something in the works, guys. But that being said, though, we thank you all very much for joining us here today and for
thank you guys
watching our videos here. And like I said before, please help us out. Get us to 1,000.
1,000.
Get us to 1,000.
That's our goal.
And we're hoping we can reach that goal, hopefully by the end of the year. If not, we're still going to keep pushing for that. But thank you very much for joining us here, guys. You all stay safe out there. And remember, cheers.
Cheers.